Hey guys, the Duckman here. Today we're going to look at an updated cost for running a small hobby farm in November of 2023. So I've got 5 geese. I've got something like 10 or 15 ducks. I actually don't know the count, which is kind of funny. And then I've got like 6 or 7 chickens and 3 emus. Those are just my birds. I also have 4 goats, 1 sheep, a donkey, and 2 pigs. So we've got quite a few animals, a lot of birds, and the emus are actually quite big. So you can imagine that the cost to feed an animal is pretty closely correlated with how large they are. Let's talk about the birds. So I've got a feeding station over here where they're kind of all hanging out right now. This is dog food right here in this bucket, and guess who eats that? That's the emus. This is just classic all flock feed right here, because my whole flock eats out of the same bucket. The chicken feed / all flock feed is going to run you these days probably between $10 and $15 per bag if you buy the cheapest you can find. That's gonna be a 40-pound bag for you. How long does a 40-pound bag last for something like 30 ducks, geese, chickens? 40 pounds is probably going to last you, a week or two. And for the dog food for the 3 full-grown emus, that's also running me probably $15 per bag of 40 pounds. I'm buying the cheapest I can find. And that also lasts me probably a couple weeks per bag. So for the ducks, chickens, geese, and emus, we're probably talking 2 bags of each type of food per month at a minimum. Let's call it 3 for the chickens, ducks, and geese, if I had to guess. So in that case, we're talking about $45 for the flock feed and about $30 for the emu feed. That's $75 for all the birds per month. That's not that bad, actually. Considering that I've got 3 full-grown emus, they're quite large. So keeping birds as a hobby is honestly a pretty cheap thing you can do. I have a lot, and I could probably double the amount of birds I have, and it would only increase my monthly costs by another, say, $30 to $60 a month. The emus cost a lot on their own because they are large animals. Of course, unfortunately, we're living in a post-inflation world in November of 2023, and a lot of these types of feed bags would probably cost, honestly, maybe half or 60% of the current price if we were talking 2019. That's just kind of an unfortunate part of this world that we live in, and everything's more expensive. But yeah, in 2023, post-inflation, we're talking $15 a bag probably for 40 pounds. I also neglected to mention the quail. I've got 10 of these guys. Honestly, I didn't mention them because they cost next to nothing to feed. I have 5 that I just recently hatched, and they're mixed in here now. You can barely tell a difference because they're probably 4 weeks old, and they are pretty close to full size. The new ones are. So these guys, I mean, you could probably have 100 quail before you'd notice the price. Their carcass is pretty small, so it's gonna not cost a whole lot to feed incremental numbers of quail. They are a fun animal to keep if you have a small amount of space, like a small cage outside. They don't need a whole lot of space. They don't even like having a ton of space. They like to kind of hide under things. So keep that in mind. They're a good starter animal if you don't have acreage. So what about all these guys? I've got the 4 goats, 1 sheep, 2 pigs, and a donkey. I've got this very exquisite fencing set up here because they are really good at breaking out. 2 latches. That's right. These guys are going to break the bank in 2023, unfortunately. I Well, it's November, of course, so there's not a lot of greenery to forage anymore. So I started buying hay bales and storing them up here in this makeshift barn I built. Yeah, you're looking at a $200 8x8x8 that I built with my bare hands. It's ugly as sin, but we do what we can in this economy. On November 4th, I bought, I believe, 15 of these 50-pound bales and stored them up here. It's now November 30th as of making this, and I have 4 bales left. So in about 1 month, I used 11 bales. That's like 550 pounds of hay for these animals here. The donkey, of course, eats a lot because he's probably, I don't know, 500 pounds heavy. But I bought these for $15.49 a piece for 50-pound bales. So for $15 times 15 square bales, that's going to run you at about $232 without tax or any delivery fees if you're getting them delivered. Try to avoid delivery, but unfortunately I usually deliver because I don't have a truck yet. Of course, if I had a truck, I would probably haul a round bale, which is much more economical. You could probably buy a 1-ton round bale for about half the price per pound of hay than you can for a square bale. I'm in north central Texas, and hay bales cost a lot of money right now. Unfortunately, these foragers and these ruminants can really break the bank right now if you don't have the acreage to harvest your own hay or to support them in the winter. So I make do, but I wouldn't increase the size of this herd a whole lot. We're probably talking, each of these goats is probably like 50 pounds roughly. This one sheep, she's huge, honestly. She's huge. She might be like 70 pounds. I have no clue. She's gargantuan. The pigs don't eat a whole lot of hay. They actually eat their own feed. I think I get their feed bags, 40 pounds a bag, $15 a piece. Let's call it $30 per month, 2 bags a month to feed 2 pigs. One of them's growing. I don't really portion out their feed scientifically either. I just give them 2 scoops in the morning, 2 at night, and they seem to be doing fine, and the little one's growing pretty well. So for a small farm, you know, $232 for 15 bales of hay. Let's subtract 60 off that. It's $170 for the month of that they just ate without delivery or tax costs. And I actually bought these bags recently to feed them through slow feed bags because I realized they were wasting a lot by pulling it out and just chucking it on the ground. So this might help. But overall, these guys are quite expensive, and you're probably going to be able to sell a goat or a sheep in my area for between $125 and $200 a piece. And if they're costing quite a bit to feed per month, you probably are not going to come out ahead in this current economy unless you have the scale to support them. I'm working on being able to support them on my land with planting ryegrass and later on Bermuda grass in the larger property.